Get away from the losers or you will become a loser. A lot of you are not losers, but you're surrounded by them. And if you don't get away from them, you will become one. There's this incredible misconception that the people we spend time with, the people that we give our energy to, it's harmless. This is not true. Your environment is either draining you or recharging you. So which one is it? And a lot of you quietly already kind of know the exact people that I'm targeting in your life when I say this. A lot of you are surrounded by unmotivated, hateful, negative, jealous people, and you may think to yourself, surely this isn't a poster child of who I want to become, but I'm not going to be affected by just simply spending time with them. This is incorrect. We are not unaffected by the vibrations that we have close to us. You are either going to bring them up or they're going to pull you down. And something I need you to understand is that positivity needs to constantly be nurtured. Negativity is not the same. It will literally thrive on its own. And this is why it's important for you to be strict on who you have around you in your life. Some people do not mind drowning. And for this reason alone, you should not be jumping in to save everybody. I know it can be very, very difficult when you're by nature a very caring person or a big-hearted person, and that's why I'm making this video today in hopes that I can save somebody from learning the hard way. You can have love for people and still choose to detach from them in the name of prioritizing yourself. It doesn't have to be this big, dramatic falling out and cut off. No. It's completely normal to outgrow the people in your life, especially if you're somebody who has big dreams, big goals, and big ambitions for yourself. Not everybody can come with you. If horses and dogs can be disrupted by erratic energy or they can sense when their owner isn't courageous, what makes you think that you're not being affected in the same manner? Surely you can understand that animals are clearly affected by their energetic environment, so it only makes sense that you would be as well. You need to value yourself enough to be picky with the company that you keep. Today I'm going to be helping you reevaluate who you have around you and if these people are encouraging your success or not. Number 1, the jealous, competitive, and fake supportive friends. These are the secret haters in your life. These people will never be under your post. They won't reshare your stuff, but they're going to be in Justin Bieber's comments telling him happy birthday. These are the people who stay silent when you're winning, but you can bet that they're watching. And these people might actually support you doing well for yourself as long as it doesn't mean doing better than them. Sometimes your very best friend can be your biggest hater. And as someone who has first-hand experienced this, here are some signs to watch out for. You can feel that they're never truly happy for you. And not only that, but they don't really inquire about your world. They kind of just dump on you about themselves and then don't show up in the same capacity when it comes to you. And I swear, you can literally feel the secret animosity that these people have for you in your body. These are the type of people who will smile in your face but then prey on your downfall behind your back because you make them look bad. They envy your shine and they want to shine too. And they don't mind if they have to throw you into the shade in order to shine themselves. And instead of being a normal, healthy, functioning human being who understands everybody has different strengths and weaknesses, and if you come together in collaboration, you can create something beautiful, their admiration and desire to be where you're at in life actually becomes hatred because you make them feel inferior just by existing. It doesn't matter how kind you are to these people, and it doesn't matter how much you help them. If anything, it will just make their internalized hate towards you grow more. And there's nothing you can do to help these kind of people, and there's nothing that you did. Unfortunately, These type of people were just raised to be this way. They may even try to become you. And unfortunately, I have dealt with a lot of people like this. I call them skinwalkers. These people will literally adopt your mannerisms, take your personality, put it on, start dressing like you, start acting like you. It's very spooky stuff. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever dealt with anything similar to this. The thing I realized about these people is that you emulate so much of what they wish that they could be, and they actually love you so much that it turns to hatred because they wish that that could be them. Twisted, I know. These people are insanely dangerous and will stop at nothing, not to see you fail, but just to feel as if they have topped you. And if you're the kind of person who is very open-hearted and very caring, this can become very damaging to you because you are giving access to your personal life to a secret enemy. Cut these people off today. Do not give them another ounce of your energy, and don't worry, they're gonna stalk you for the rest of their lives anyways, so make sure you give them a good show. Number 2, constant trauma dumpers. These are the people who are always in chaos and they're only ever calling your phone so that they can unload it, and then they're never showing up for you in the same capacity. They're probably not even asking you how you're doing. They're just using you as a free therapist and emotional support animal. You are constantly supporting them, but it's never a mutual exchange. It's literally like somebody coming into your living room and dumping a bag of trash, and you're just like, oh my God, like, no worries. I know you just did this yesterday, but I'm just gonna clean it up. Like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. After talking to these people, you're probably feeling very heavy in the chest, drained and depleted. That's not love, honey. That's energy theft. And it's time that you realize that your needs are not being met in this relationship, and they're actually not even being considered. If you still need to deal with people like this, you need to restrict your availability. Give them less of your time, shorter phone calls. Let them know you don't have the capacity for this right now. Just stop being their therapist 24/7. You're not getting paid for it. It's not worth it. The next group of people that we're going to be covering are the I'm going to talkers. These are the people who are always talking about what they're going to do, but never actually doing it. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna start this business, I'm gonna lose the weight, I'm gonna quit this habit, and then they're at the same club that they've been at, blacked out for the past 5 years. These people are dreamers that are too lazy to ever follow through with the execution of those dreams. They are constantly consumed by distractions, meaningless relationships, bad habits, nightlife, whatever it may be. These people don't take themselves seriously, to tell you the truth. So please don't ever get it confused and think that they're taking you seriously. People can only meet you in the capacity that they've met themselves. These are the exact same people who choose rest continuously before the work is done or before the work is even started. And you have to understand, some people are okay with a mediocre life. Some people are okay staying complacent. They're okay with staying comfortable. They're okay staying where they're at. These people lack the drive to make the things that they really otherwise want to happen. These people will not help you get to where you're going, and they will drag you down. This brings me to people who refuse to change. You could turn blue in the face telling somebody that their behavior wasn't okay with you, that your needs aren't being met. Stop wasting your time telling somebody over and over again what you need from them. They heard you. They don't care. Telling somebody over and over again is literally overcompensation, and they don't take you seriously. You're wasting your time going on and on about how you don't like it when they do this and how it hurts you so much. And to be honest with you, they're bored of hearing it. When somebody shows you how they feel about you, you need to believe it. And you need to stop making excuses for them and fighting for them to see your worth. They don't. That's it. People who refuse to change might use, that's just how I am, as an alibi. Like, yeah, right. Because we don't all have the same opportunity to become better versions of ourselves, right? We don't all have the same access to the same type of knowledge literally at our fingertips, right? Don't go for that. They just don't want to be better for you. These people can also look like people who are often stuck in the same cycles and are going through the same situations and the same relationships over and over again. This goes hand in hand with the victim mindset, which actually keeps these people from repeating the same thing over and over and over again. These people think life is out to get them, and they have a why me mindset, as I like to call it. These people feel powerless over their lives, and they feel crushed by the responsibility that comes with taking responsibility for your own well-being. These people may also be disapproving and not really take you serious when you start to change, when you start to glow, when you start to set boundaries, because these people can only take you as seriously as they take themselves. Some people live their entire lives this way, so please do not waste your time trying to help people who don't want to help themselves. Some people go through rough seasons, and this is not the same as somebody who refuses to move. You can always bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And again, you don't have to hate these people. Just detach with love. Keep glowing. They're either going to catch up with you or fall off eventually. So the next type of people we're going to be talking about are low vibrational beings. What do I mean when I say low vibrational beings? These are the people whose default setting is negative, heavy energy. These people are always assuming the worst, always talking bad about everybody, always saying they're going to change and never actually doing it, and you probably feel super tired after hanging out with them. That's low vibrational. And it's not about being perfect. It's about this is the energy that these people choose to live in every single day. These people usually have poor habits, and they're constantly engaging in low vibrational activities. Their mental and physical diet is probably trash. They're probably always constantly gossiping about other people. They're probably always judging other people. And they're huge consumers of everything that's around them, but they're never actually creating anything. Your energy can be drained just by being around people like this. You can try to bring these people into more positive, high vibrational environments and activities with you. And you can offer solution-based convos instead of entertaining the toxic garbage that comes out of their mouth. But honestly, you're not going to be able to protect yourself from every low vibrational being out there. There's far too many, but it's important that you understand how to recognize them and how to protect your energy. Disengage and don't give so much of your energy and time to these people if you can help it. Only connect when absolutely necessary and keep your guard up. We are very sensitive to negative energy, so you need to be careful. The next type of losers you need to avoid like the plague are the stagnant partiers. These are the people who use drugs and drink constantly. They're always telling you the same story. They're at the same club every single weekend. They're doing the same things that they were doing 10 years ago. They're talking about, we're only young once, but they're 28, 32, and 35 with no family or any direction in life. Partying and party stories tend to become the foundation of this person's entire character. These people live in a fragmented reality induced by intoxication because they cannot stand to face themselves in real reality. And partying helps make them feel like they're actually happy and content with where they are in life. These people have normalized numbing, staying stuck in the same cycles, and running from problems instead of facing them. These people also usually heavily tie in with the I'm going to talkers. You say you want a better life, but what you really want is vibes and to know what the next move is and where the function's at. Let's be serious. If you find yourself surrounded by a lot of these people, a lot of these friends, just do your best to reduce time with them if you can. Stop matching their lifestyle and be okay with more of a boring life while you build. It's one thing to enjoy things in moderation, but it's another thing if this becomes your whole entire lifestyle. It's hard to wake up early, create, work out, and work on yourself after constant partying, yeah? I'm not saying you need to be 100% abstinent. What I am saying is you need to have self-awareness. especially if you're not where you want to be in life. The next type of people we're going to be addressing are those people who do not take care of their physical and mental health. It's quite obvious to know when someone has an I don't care attitude towards themselves. And you better believe that they're going to have an I don't care attitude towards you as well. These are people who have poor hygiene, poor sleep patterns, poor habits in their lives. They're always talking about how they're going to change and do better, but they never do. These people refuse to help themselves and often glorify their struggle. Self-neglect is not normal, and it's a huge red flag. This can also look like somebody who is just not interested in learning anything, not interested in growing at all. They're just kind of living the same life year after year and calling it a life. Now, this is not to get confused with somebody who's actually trying versus somebody who's just given up on themselves. There's a big difference, okay? I'm not talking about being a model on the runway. I'm talking about self-respect. People cannot have respect for you if they don't even have respect for themselves. People are going to treat you only as well as they treat themselves. The next type of people that I'm going to need you to get away from immediately are the people who are always negative, always doubting, always naysaying something, and constantly projecting. These type of people never have anything good to say. They're always looking for the worst in every situation, and they're always preparing for disaster to happen. These people are riddled with self-doubt, and they're under the spell of a lack and limitation mindset, and they've been possessed by their own fear and their own poverty story. They are constantly negative. They always have something to complain about, and they can't really roll with the punches of life. They can't see that things happen for a reason, and they can't see the positive side to anything. These are the same people that project their own struggle and their own choices and don't actually ever believe that anybody is doing that well in real life. The people who think everybody is lying about their success because they chose struggle. Nobody's really that happy. Their relationship can't be that great. There's no way they're making that much money. There's no way they're that pretty in real life. No, babe. That's just their reality. These people constantly speak bad about others, but also about themselves. They're constantly dragging their own vibration down. They will say things like, oh, I'm broke. I'm ugly. Nothing ever works out for me. They're never speaking life into themselves. This is low vibrational spell casting, and you will absolutely be affected by this energy if you're sitting in it for too long. These people are actually amongst the most dangerous out of everyone that I've mentioned so far, because they will plant seeds of doubt inside your mind. You really just need to learn to shut your mouth around these type of people if you must be around them. Do not give them a window of opportunity to project their fears onto your dreams. Projection is when somebody takes their own fears and their own insecurities and they throw it out there as if it's facts. It's like when somebody tells you, you're doing too much, or your dreams are too big, it'll never work, it's not realistic. What they're really saying is, I don't believe that that could happen for me. I would be too scared to do that. That is their story. So do not let somebody else's projections become your story. You think for yourself and you choose your own story. If there's somebody in your life that you cannot avoid who's constantly projecting, the best thing that you can do is label it for exactly what it is: projection. You can refuse to adopt that as facts or as truth and just learn to see it as that's where they're coming from. That's their reality. That does not have to be mine. That's nice that they have their opinions, and thank you for your feedback, but you do not need to take it into consideration if it's not in alignment with what you're trying to do for yourself. Now, this isn't to say you should just ignore any constructive criticism or feedback that comes from people. You need to know the difference between something like that versus somebody who's just straight up projecting because they're not happy with themselves and with the choices they've made in their life. Some people are just riddled with chronic doubt and chronic fear, and they can't help but let it spill over onto you but you do not need to accept this. More importantly, you need to figure out what you need to do to protect yourself from people like this. The next type of people we're going to be discussing are the NPCs and the non-believers. These are the people who refuse to acknowledge the power they have over their own growth and their own quality of life. These people do not believe in manifestation or self-concept work. They think it's delusional. They believe that life is just hard and that's just how it is. NPCs have no desire to develop themselves. They kind of just take themselves as the base model human and roll with it. They don't have the drive to want to improve themselves or improve their quality of life. These people are also very dangerous. If you're around a lot of NPCs, you're going to become an NPC in your own life. NPCs lack critical thinking. They kind of just follow everybody else and do what they're told that they're supposed to do, and they don't really question it or ever try to go against the grain. I tied this in with non-believers because these are also people who don't dream. They're not dreamers. They don't have goals and dreams for themselves. They just kind of want to live a mundane life, and they don't honestly really believe that they could have access to anything other than that. NPCs are people who never want to change and who refuse to accept the responsibility that they have over their own life. These people are often miserable. They don't like their life, they don't like themselves, but they also refuse to do anything about it because they just don't believe that they can. They don't believe that the key to self-improvement and enjoying a good, fulfilling life actually lives within them. This can also be said about people who think that life is happening to them and not happening for them. So if you're an NPC in your life, you're kind of just there. You're not really consciously creating anything for yourself, and you honestly don't even believe that you have that type of power. I really think that these people can change and end up becoming contributing members of their own life, but it starts with them accepting that reality can actually be that good, and that it's something that they're doing that's the reason why they're not where they're at. They can no longer blame everything that's happened to them and their environment, and they have to start taking full responsibility for their own well-being and who they become. Do not be somebody who doesn't understand the power that they have over the quality of their own life. Do not be somebody who just never develops themselves. Don't do that to yourself. Give yourself a chance to become everything that you've always wanted to be. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to think that things could actually be that good for you. They could actually happen on that big of a scale. It all starts within your mind and how you feel about yourself and the world around you. People who don't dream are never going to understand or support your dreams because they can't imagine that for themselves. So of course they're not going to be able to imagine it for you. They're going to try to tell you to be realistic and, oh, you really believe in all of that stuff? Like, yeah. There's enough information out there for all of us to grow and develop into the person that we want to be. It's just a matter of if we actually do it or not. I also need you to get away from people who try to humble you, okay? People who try to humble you hate their lives. People who try to humble you do this because you make them feel like a loser. A lot of these people are actually losers. They see you with your big dreams, your big ambitions, and your big goals, and you know what? You highlight within them their lack of these things. They're intimidated by you. They're intimidated by what you could accomplish because they could never imagine that for themselves. These people are never truly happy for you. They will always have something negative to say. They will always try to assert themselves in your business, offer you criticism and critiques you didn't ask for. You should never have to feel the need to minimize yourself, your success, and your good news because you know somebody's not going to take it well. Will you just get around people who are excited for you, who are on the same level as you, so that they're not intimidated every single time you open your mouth, and they're not just trying to bring you back down to earth every chance that they get because that's the only thing they feel powerful over? Listen, somebody who loves themselves and is constantly working on their own self-evolution is never gonna try to humble you. They're gonna be the first ones gassing you. So remember this next time someone tries to humble you. My best advice when it comes to dealing with people like this is to celebrate yourself anyways. These people will drop out of your life like dead flies. Good. You don't need to be around that type of energy. You need to be around people who actually support you and actually love themselves. Because if somebody lacks self-love and they lack the capacity to be able to support somebody, it just shows that they are not somebody where they can be happy about, where they're celebratory about. So celebrate yourself anyways and just watch who disappears out of your life and be thankful. Be thankful for it, because at the end of the day, you don't need those people around you. You don't need people who are trying to humble you. And one thing I want you to keep in mind is that, don't you realize it's never people whose lives you would want to swap with who are trying to humble you? These people are intimidated by your potential, and they knew if you ever actually fully reached that potential that they see in you, you would never deal with them. They want to keep you small so you stay on the same vibration as them. I'm sorry, but that's not going to be happening. Humble myself for who? For you? I don't think so. People who do not value you. Those are the next people up on the chopping block that have got to go. If you have people in your life that don't value you and you stick by them in the name of loyalty, you need to realize you're actually not loyal to them. You're loyal to abandoning yourself. And people never respect people like this, okay? These are the type of people who get taken advantage of the most. If you don't see your own value and your own worth, other people will pick up on that, and there are certain types of people who will use that to their advantage, so you need to really be careful. It's easy to see how much a person values you in their life just based solely on their actions towards you. You guys need to stop lying to yourself and making excuses for people who constantly show you how they feel about you. You're not clueless. They don't value you, and you need to stop accepting unacceptable behavior just to have them in your life. You're literally just wasting space and taking up room, stopping people who actually do value you from coming in. Remove yourself and let yourself have the opportunity to be around people who actually see your value and actually see your worth and act accordingly. The problem is a lot of you guys don't value yourself enough to realize that this person doesn't value you. People are only going to treat you how you treat yourself, right? So treat yourself like somebody you value and remove yourself from situations that compromise your value, and give yourself a chance to get around the right environments with the right people who actually support you, love you, and want to see you thrive. People who don't value you can also look like people who only come around when they need something. Friends who constantly cancel plans with you and waste your time and don't show up for you in the same capacity that you show up for them. Stop letting people take you for granted and get these people out of your life. Now, the last type of people we're going to be discussing in this video that I need you to stop making excuses for are toxic people. These are the people who are obsessed with drama and gossiping. They never have any stable relationships in their life. They don't live a healthy lifestyle. They don't have a healthy mindset. These people are literally suffering, and they will drown you down with them. Anyone who's controlling or manipulative, anybody who gaslights you and doesn't respect your boundaries, they've got to go. Maybe you see them doing this to other people in their life and you just think like, oh, it's okay as long as they're not doing it to me. No. It's only a matter of time before these people treat you the same as everybody else. These people live in constant chaos, and it's just not something that you should enable. Sometimes it takes losing everybody in their life for these types of people to actually change. You guys need to stop enabling toxic behavior and normalizing toxic behavior, because you're literally living in fight or flight and disrupting your own nervous system just to keep somebody in your life who, quite frankly, doesn't deserve to be there. Toxic people are extremely selfish and they blame everybody else for their problems. They can never take accountability and look at themselves. They can never acknowledge their part that they have in the chaos that they quite often are the creator of. You need to get away from these people and you need to stop enabling them. These people will literally influence your mind to normalize things that should not be normalized. Know that you deserve to have quality people in your life. Get rid of the toxic people in your life. Get rid of the people in your life who have nothing going on for themselves, so they have to talk about other people. Get away from the people who cannot take accountability and refuse to acknowledge their part in all of the circumstances in their life. You need to understand with confidence that what people aren't changing, they're choosing. These people know they could do better for themselves. They're not helpless. They just choose not to. And you're over there standing by them. Why are you doing that? Value yourself more than this. Value yourself enough to put yourself around people who are actually on your level. Unless you're a toxic person yourself, then you might enjoy spending time with toxic people. But if you're not a toxic person, get away from the toxic people in your life. If you stay around toxic, low standard people enough, you're going to become what you tolerate. Get away from the losers or you will become a loser. A lot of you are going to say, Mia, but what if it's my family? What if it's my family that's toxic? How am I supposed to avoid them? And so what if it is your family? Are you not the main character in your life? We don't get to choose our family, but we can absolutely choose how much of our energy that we give them and how much of an influence we allow them to have over our life. The best thing that you can do for yourself is learn how to set physical and energetic boundaries for yourself. You need to protect your sanity and your peace of mind around people that you can't really just remove out of your life. And perhaps you don't have the opportunity now, but when you gain independence, if you do need full physical distance from these people to protect your peace, that's what needs to be done. Just because they're your family doesn't give them an excuse to be a toxic person taking up space in your life. No, that's not a good excuse. People who truly love you in your life will respect your boundaries. And they will learn to meet your needs how you need them met, not for what's good enough for them. They don't get to decide what type of behavior you're going to accept in your life. That's not how it works. You don't get a free pass just because you're somebody's family to be a toxic person in their life. I'm sorry, you don't. Actually, I'm not sorry. And if you need to go completely no contact with these people because nothing that you do is enough to make them respect your boundaries, unfortunately, sometimes that is the case. And sometimes the distance is needed for them to actually start respecting and start valuing you. But you need to know that you are worthy of protecting your peace and you are worthy of asserting your boundaries and your needs. Yes, even with your family. And they must respect it. So let's talk about some of the people that you should be around. I have talked about this in some of my other videos, but if you haven't seen them, I think it's really, really important to be around people who inspire you and who are doing better than you. Even people who intimidate you a little bit. These people are going to bring out the best in you. When you're around people who are doing really, really well for themselves, you're going to start to believe that that can happen for you too. And it's the same thing as if you're around negative, low vibrational people. You're going to be influenced as to what's possible for you in that aspect as well. Get around people who dream, who set goals for themselves and achieve it, who believe that they can do anything and have anything in their life because there are so many people who are doing it. Get around people who want the same things out of life as you. Get around people who value the same things as you. One of the wisest things that you can do is put yourself around people who can teach you things. And quite often, these people want to teach you things. People who carry knowledge and wisdom enjoy sharing it with others. It's exactly why I made this YouTube channel. Don't you want to be around people who light up when good things are happening to you? Don't you want to be around people who believe big things can happen for you because it's literally happening for them? The people you have around you should make you feel seen and inspired, not drained and diminished. Time to get away from the losers. Not because you're better than everyone, but because you're finally going to decide to stop throwing away your destiny to fit in with people who don't even like themselves or where their life is going. Protect your energy like your most valuable resource, because it quite literally is. Stop trying to save people who don't want to be saved, and just focus on becoming your highest self, and you will naturally attract people who are on that level. You deserve people who actually value you and value their own life. I hope this video helped. Love you guys.